Greetings and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. It occurs to me that I haven't really done a lot of videos about casual play for a while. We've been talking other things. And after watching a recent video elsewhere on YouTube, I forget the name of the channel, Let's Talk Tabletop, something like that. If you can find it, check him out. He seems to be a good guy, good, interesting channel. And he does a video about what is casual play. And while it's quite interesting and certainly thought-provoking, it differs slightly, I think, in some areas to what I feel. So I thought, hey, this is a good opportunity to put my thoughts across. Where do we start? Rule number one for casual play, and I'm just going to say it, is don't be a dick. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. You don't need to be that. This is not competitive play. This is not trying to win at all costs. This is not trying to crush the opponent. You're not trying to score maximum VP in order to get to the next table up. You're having a fun and friendly game. And I'm going to talk about fun in a minute because that's item number 2 on our list. What do I mean by don't be that guy? Don't be that girl. Don't be that player. Basically, don't game the game. Casual play isn't the same as playing in a competitive tournament or playing a competitive match. It's not the same as what we think of as match play. You're not trying to play so hard. We are literally playing a game of toy soldiers, rolling dice, moving models around the table. Chill and just enjoy the experience. Relax. You know, I've had games with friends and other players, and sometimes, I mean, not recently to be honest, but I've had times where someone's gone, hey, I'm going to bring a nice casual fun list, and what they turn up with is like, that's not fun at all. You know, and either, yeah, it is quite a cool list, it's interesting, it's different, but they play it as though they're playing an actual match play game, that they're playing to win. Or they've brought a really, you know, their idea of a casual list is completely not. And it steamrollers over anything I've got because I've just brought cool stuff that I want to try out with no sort of like context to it. Don't do that. You know, if you're going to bring a list, bring something that's really low key, something you wouldn't see on a match play tournament. You know, play those battle lines, play those units that the meta, and we don't like a meta here, the meta doesn't like and thinks it's too expensive or not worth the effort. Those are the cool units you play in casual play. I've also had people who pre-measure everything. They still think that they are playing a competitive game. I think I've mentioned this in one of my older videos. I had a game against someone, I think it was an 8th edition game, and quite literally they measured everything. The distance between my units and theirs, the range where I could shoot and rapid fire, where I could potentially get to with a charge, and they made sure that they were far enough away from anything like that. I couldn't rapid fire them. I wasn't going to be able to charge them, but they were able to get them. They were playing Eldari or Eldar. So they had the maneuverability to stay far enough away. And basically, it's just like, you are playing a competitive game. You've not turned up to play a fun and casual game. Don't do that. It's about woosah and just play. It plays for fun. Rule or item number 2 is what is fun. We say all the time playing for fun. But the thing is, my idea of a fun game is different to yours, which is different to hers, which is different to his. You know, somebody, that Eldari player that I was just talking about, to them, fun is doing this pre-measuring and very ingrained sort of, this is how I play, this is how I win mentality. And you don't need that. Fun to me, I keep repeating this. There's no easy way to say it. We can always say really easily the things we don't like. The positive things it's harder to explain. But for me, fun is just a basic list, no thought to it, really. Not taking the strong units, not taking the strong detachments, not taking those units. It's literally we are pushing models around the table and rolling dice. I can say this till the groks come home. That's one area where you will clash, but you kind of need to work around that between you and your opponent. If your opponent is not a casual player, you need to go. You need to have that little chat beforehand and say, please don't play like this. We're just here to have this, low-key, fun game. My list and my playstyle is not built for this. Let's just roll some dice and move some models. And 9 times out of 10, you'll find the person goes, okay. You'll then find that one person who won't like it. I mean, I've known people in the past whose approach was, I play competitively, I might do tournaments, I don't see the point of playing a game if you're not going to win. All they do is get good BS. And you're never going to get a good casual game out of them. You're never going to get a fun game out of people like that, unfortunately. The more competitive players need to tone themselves down so that they both have fun on a middle ground. That's something you need to consider. It kind of falls into number 3, which is you are playing a narrative, you are playing realism. Again, going back to this idea of the Eldari player pre-measuring everything, and making sure he's doing this and he's doing that so that he's always... People don't do that. If you watch any war movie, you don't do that. You have people running through the streets, you have people bunched up against walls, leaping out and shooting. A casual game doesn't have to be quite as narrative as that. But it comes back again to you don't want to be playing in the style of a competitive game. Run those models. You've got an objective, run to it. You want to score table quarters, get units into that table. You don't have to hide behind ruins. You don't have to sit in the trees. Just move your models and play. Casual play is much more low-key. Keep repeating this. It's about using the imagination a bit more rather than focusing. It's about playing the fluff rather than the crunch. Casual play does verge a lot on the narrative. That's something to bear in mind. Which then brings us to option or rule item 4, which is don't play the Leviathan or Pariah Nexus decks if you're playing casually. They're not designed for it. They really are designed for a more competitive game. If you want a good casual game, do yourself a favour and pull out the Crusade missions from the Tyranid rules in the back of the rulebook, or I still don't know whether the Tyranid Leviathan book ever came out separately for Crusade, but it's certainly in the back of my copy of the rulebook, and the Pariah Nexus Crusade book. Pull one of those missions and play that. Why? Because they're not geared towards that competitive match play style. They are missions that will put you in a situation and go, you figure it out. It's like historical gaming where people reenact certain battles in order to see whether they could do any different. You're playing Custer's Last Stand. Can you survive till dawn, or are you going to get wiped out by the Native Americans? Crusade missions can be like that. It could be something where the defender is sat in the very middle of the board in a big circle like this, and the attacker has to split their forces and come in from the sides. And the defender has to go, how long can I survive? If one model survives at the end, you can claim it as a victory. Or, it's things like that. They're much more low-key scenarios. They're much more fun. They're not something that's going to make your brain burn. I recommend them wholeheartedly. Even if you want to... some of the best match play games I've had during 9th edition was actually playing against a friend of mine, and we took Crusade missions instead of playing the actual match play. Played them as a match play game, but we played them for the narrative perspective. And you know, they work. They work so well. I really recommend that's the way to play it. Lastly, item 5, just remember something. It's just a game. At the end of the day, repeating myself, I know, I do that a lot. You are rolling dice, you are playing with toy soldiers, you're pushing them around the table. You're not at a tournament where you've got to overthink everything. Just chill. And just play a game, have a laugh. Beer and pretzels mentality is the way for casual play. Have a laugh. Can of Coke, snacks, roll some dice, bang, bang, pew, pew. You know, one of the things that actually comes up in quite a few of the games I have against my friends is something cool will happen and we'll sort of say what's happened. You know, I recently played a Crusade game against my friend Mike. He brought Farsight Enclaves, an army I haven't played in a number of editions. And the Crusade rules for Tau, well, he had these 2 markers on the table. They weren't objectives, but if I controlled them, they counted down, and if he controlled them, they counted up. And as long as one of them was in a positive, at the end of the day, he had created diplomatic relations on that world they were fighting over. And I had it, because I have an Inquisitor in the backstory of my chapter. The Inquisitor's off table somewhere with her retinue trying to hunt down the traitorous planetary governor and his family. At the end of the game, Mike completed, I think he had both of these were on 1 point or whatever. And we were saying about afterwards how, okay, the battle had been lost. Farsight and his troops had been forced to retreat and relocate, but the governor and his family escaped. Forcing, and it's gonna, the next time I play against him, you never know, that might come up in the game. We've had times where I think it was a 4th edition game. We had so much terrain that was being split between multiple tables that our central objective was a tree. We didn't have an objective. I think it was a tree, but we decided, because one person was playing Imperium, me, the other person was playing Chaos, that this was the Emperor's tree, and that's why Chaos wanted to destroy it and why we wanted to defend it. Nonsense, utter nonsense. But it creates a laugh. It makes the game so much more pleasurable. I know there's probably competitive players out there going, no, Johnny, no. Give it a try. If you're watching this and you've never really tried to sit down and just play a casual game, I fully recommend it. Really do. It's 2 people connecting, having a laugh, playing a game, and just enjoying everything that makes Warhammer 40k what it is. And if more people could play 40k in a casual fashion, I think the game would be so much more better. The community would be so much more better. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this has been, I know I blurble, but hey, that's what makes the channel so much fun. And I like burbling to you people. Give me a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, drop me a comment down below. Tell me whether you agree, disagree, and why, and what you do to make your casual games more fun than regular match play. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Take care and good gaming.